Okay, Glitch just released another teaser image, which is hopefully the last one before they post a trailer for episode 5, but in this image we can see all the circus members in different outfits, and we can recognize some of them from the previous teasers, like Jax in his safari outfit, Ragatha is wearing a cap, so it seems like her choice of adventure is definitely gonna be the softball one. Kinger is wearing a trench coat and a hat, resembling the Mafia teaser image, and Pomni is in a suit, so indeed the office teaser was probably her choice. But we can also finally see more of Gangle and Zubul, and Gangle is wearing a dress, or maybe a nightgown, I'm not sure. And also Zubul, what is their outfit? I can't even make it out, so if you're smarter than me and you can see what they could be wearing, let me know in the comments. But we can also see Corn, which is probably a nod to the corn joke about Jax, which Gooseworks talked about on her Tumblr, and we can also see a baby's head, like what is even going on? And Kane is in the middle of the image, and it looks like he's breaking through a paper wall, which might as well mean that he's indeed glitching, and that is why we are seeing this many locations and different adventures. But this is probably going to be the last time we get to talk about episode 5 before the trailer video drops, which might even be tomorrow. And honestly, after all these teasers and weird updates and out of context lines, I feel like I need to just sit down and go over everything we've seen so far, because at this point it's getting impossible to keep track of what's actually happening and what's just Glitch messing with us for fun. And yeah, I know I say this every time, but this episode actually might be the most unhinged one so far, just not in the way we originally thought. So the first teaser we got was the safari one. Jax in a little explorer hat, holding a gun, looking way too pleased with himself for someone who absolutely should not have access to weapons. That one threw everyone off immediately because we were still expecting the Colosseum episode at the time, like the one from the trailer from last year. And instead it looked like we are going on a safari hunting trip, which is already wild, but what made it even more confusing was the caption. Something about endangered species and Jax being in the middle of it with a gun. Anyway, then they dropped the office teaser, and I don't even know what to say about this one because it straight up looks like a workplace sitcom. It looks like Pomni is back in the room from episode 1, typing on a computer. Ragatha is holding a pile of papers, and for some reason wearing sunglasses indoors like she's hungover. Kinger is doing Kinger things, and Jax is just lurking with a piece of paper like he's applying for a job. I don't know, it looks like an episode of The Office got modded into the circus for no reason. And again, the caption on the Wacky site makes it sound like a joke. Something about Jax eating Ragatha's lunch, Zubul skipping their coffee, and Kinger summoning a paper demon from hell, which maybe would explain why Ragatha has the glasses. But next the stadium teaser showed up, which is this big softball setup, mannequins in the stands, the whole group just kind of standing there on the field, looking like they got pulled into a sports episode halfway through a different plot. And at this point it really started to feel like these weren't separate episodes being teased out of order, but being one single episode jumping from place to place every few minutes. But then the Mafia teaser also came out, and if you haven't seen it, I don't even know how to describe this one, because it's just Ragatha dressed like she owns a nightclub and Jax with a cigar, fully leaning into his villain arc, like he's 10 minutes away from ordering someone to be thrown in a river. Zubul is missing, like maybe they got fed up with the adventures changing this frequently, which makes perfect sense this time. And the text on the wackywash.com literally said Pomni's mob life is in deep trouble, like since when does Pomni have a mob life? And just when it felt like it couldn't get any more disconnected, it somehow started to make more sense. Because if you think about it, Kane didn't come up with the last adventure after all. He let the group use the suggestion box, so what if this time he tries to combine all of their ideas at once? Or maybe he tries to go through them one at a time but gives up halfway and just throws the rest in for a good measure. And what we end up with is this rapid fire mess of scenes and settings and outfits where no one really knows what's going on and the characters are just trying to survive while the tone keeps switching every 5 minutes. But there's also a theory that maybe it's not Kane who's pushing all this. Maybe it's Ragatha, because Gooseworks shared that she's gonna be really important in this episode and we've seen her slowly unraveling over the last few adventures. Because she's always always been the one trying to keep the group together, making sure everyone's okay, being helpful, being nice, so playing the part, but she's clearly getting tired of it. And when she got the stupid sauce into her eye in episode 4 and started saying what she really thought, it wasn't just played for laughs, it actually kind of felt like a warning. Like this version of Ragatha has always been there, just under the surface, and now she's letting more and more of it out. And then we got that line from Ragatha, the one Goosework said she says in episode 5, not anymore. And honestly, that line alone makes me think that this is the moment where she stops trying. Like she's done keeping the peace. Maybe she's the one who keeps changing the adventure every time someone starts getting annoyed or uncomfortable, not because she wants to mess things up, but because she's still trying to make everyone happy and it's just not working. And maybe that's what finally breaks her. Because if this whole thing is Ragatha trying to hold everyone together by force and nobody's reacting the way she needs them to, then yeah, I could see her snapping. And this might actually be what Gooseworks meant when she joked about people getting attached to her evil version. Because if we start seeing that side of Ragatha come out here, even just a little, it's probably not gonna be her going full villain or anything, but more like she stops holding back. She stops the sugarcoating. And maybe she'll finally say exactly what she thinks, and it might not be nice or helpful or even fair, but at least it's gonna be real. And if that's where we are heading, then yeah, that could totally change the way everyone sees her, including Jax. And this would all explain the whole Ragatha and Jax share the next 2 episodes thing. Maybe this is where she stops putting up with Jax's behavior. And if she does and she finally tells him off or throws it back at him, that might actually mess Jax up way more than anything else. Especially because Goosework said that he's gonna get tortured, but not in a traditional way. Which kind of makes me think someone is finally gonna say something that gets to him. And yeah, she also said that Jax is going to do something really bad. We don't know what that is yet, but it's clearly not gonna be great. And the other out of context line we got was from Pomni, I am just being here. Which might be the most Pomni thing ever, but it also kind of feels different this time. She sounds kind of tired and not in a dramatic way, just in that checked out, mentally flatline kind of way where everything is too much and you're just waiting for it to end. And I get it. If I was stuck in a sports mafia office safari crossover episode while 2 of the most emotionally damaged people in the circus work through their issues in real time, I would also be standing off of the side trying to dissociate. But obviously it's kind of hard to tell all this from an out of context written line, but still. And then there's also this Mannequin NPC character in the teaser who might be Dr. Football, which would be kind of hilarious because he's just been vibing in the background since episode 1. But now he's right there in the middle of the group wearing a hat, looking like he belongs there. And some people think he's leading the safari adventure or maybe even tied to something bigger, like maybe the circus is gonna start breaking apart or the NPCs are becoming more sentient or Kane isn't in control anymore. I don't know, but something about him feels intentional from the start, like he's not just an extra NPC. After all, he's got a name. And that also ties into the was that a reference to something line that Goosework shared, which sounds kinda serious, but could also be one of the characters actually noticing that something is off. Because if the NPCs are getting reused, if the logic is breaking down, if the simulation is glitching in a way they're not used to, that could be the first time someone actually starts realizing how fake it all is. And there's also the whole CNA mystery. Their logo's been showing up more often on boxes in Kane's office and we still don't know who or what they are. Maybe they are the ones running the circus. Maybe they created Kane. Maybe they are monitoring everything, and if Kane is developing real emotions, which it kinda looks like he is, then maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's starting to care too much about the others and the system sees that as a threat. Maybe he's glitching because he's not allowed to feel anything at all. Or maybe he was never just a program to begin with and something else is going on entirely. So yeah, I don't know how this episode is gonna play out, but I do think it's gonna start out feeling like a joke and end with something way more serious. Maybe not full meltdown, but definitely the start of something breaking. And whether it's Kane or Ragatha or Jax or the whole system, it kind of feels like everything is starting to come apart. But let me know what you think about the episode 5 teaser so far down in the comments. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.